Good evening. You're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. The Sarawak government has approved the Sarawak State Ownership Policy, or Sarawak SOP, in a major move to strengthen governance of state-owned enterprises, or SOEs. Sarawak Premier Dato' Peninggi Dan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg says the policy defines the state's role as owner while establishing clear performance benchmarks. This is complemented by the introduction of the Sarawak Code of Corporate Governance for SOEs based on the comply or explain principle.
It provides a common standard of governance across our SOEs, covering areas such as board effectiveness, risk management, transparency, disclosure, and ethical conduct. Together, these reforms signal a shift towards a more professional ownership model, as mentioned by SFS earlier on, one that promotes accountability, strengthens governance, and improves performance across the entire SOE ecosystem.
Abang Johari also introduced the principle of competitive neutrality to ensure a level playing field between SOEs and the private sector.
If SOEs benefit from advantages that are not available to private sector players, whether through financing arrangements, regulatory exemption, or other forms of implicit support, we risk discouraging private investment and weakening market competitiveness. Without neutrality, we risk inefficiency. With neutrality, we encourage innovation, productivity, and healthy competition.
He adds that SOEs will also be required to adopt a results-based budgeting approach, focusing not just on how much money is spent, but on the real impact and value delivered to Sarawakans.
Sarawak has become the first state in Malaysia to join the World Economic Forum WEF's Transitioning Industrial Cluster Initiative, connecting Bintulu to a global network of industrial regions driving low carbon growth and industrial transformation. The Sarawak government has also launched the Bintulu Transitioning Industrial Cluster TIC with 4 pilot projects set to begin this year as part of efforts to accelerate green industry transformation along the Bintulu-Samalaju corridor. Sarawak Premier Dato' Peninggi Dan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg says the integrated platform will bring together industry players, government agencies, technology partners and financial institutions under a common framework to advance the region's decarbonisation agenda.
According to him, Bintulu TIC is a key enabler under Sarawak's developing net zero carbon strategy and roadmap, designed to fast-track comprehensive decarbonisation efforts across the region.
Decarbonizing industries through the TIC initiative will be an important part to meet Sarawak's goal to maintain our net negative position while creating new opportunities for investment, industrial growth, and long-term economic resilience.
Elaborating further on the 4 pilot projects set for implementation this year, Abang Johari says the first project focuses on smart manufacturing operations, leveraging digital technologies, connectivity and data-driven optimization to boost productivity and industrial efficiency across the corridor. Meanwhile, the Sarawak CCU H2 Hub will focus on advancing large-scale carbon utilization and hydrogen production. The third initiative is industrial symbiosis, where companies collaborate by sharing resources, repurposing waste streams, and improving efficiency through a circular industrial ecosystem. Crucial for the entire ecosystem of the project is the Bintulu TIC Talent Initiative that is focused on upskilling and reskilling the future workforce to meet demands of industrial transition, digitalization, and the growing low-carbon industry. All 4 pilot projects will serve as the foundation for a long-term transformation expected to make the Bintulu-Samalaju corridor more competitive, innovative, and resilient. At the same time, Sarawak is positioning itself as one of the front runners in a new era of industrialization, driven by competitive low-carbon development, with Bintulu set to play a key role in shaping the future of the industry across Asia. Abang Johari says the state's confidence is rooted in Bintulu's unique position as the meeting point between Sarawak's industrial strength and its long-term development ambitions.
In many ways, Bintulu represents the success of Asia's industrialization story, but it can also represent its future. We believe Sarawak can be among the first movers in this new industrial era, with Bintulu helping to define the future of competitive, low-carbon industrial development in Asia.
Welcome back. Tensions in West Asia are escalating once again as the United States and Iran trade a fresh round of military strikes, further dimming hopes for a lasting ceasefire. The latest exchanges have sparked concern across the region, with neighboring countries stepping up security measures and world powers renewing calls for restraint. For the latest developments, we go to Yusuf Shukri.
Thank you, Lorenzo. The United States and Iran have exchanged a new round of attacks, deepening a conflict that has now entered its third month. Washington said it carried out additional defensive strikes targeting Iranian military surveillance, communications, and air defense infrastructure. The operation followed U.S. accusations that Tehran was delaying negotiations aimed at bringing the conflict to an end. Explosions were reported across southern Iran, including areas near the strategic Strait of Hormuz. U.S. CENTCOM said the strikes were intended to counter threats to American forces and commercial shipping in the region. Iran responded with attacks on U.S.-linked military targets in Kuwait and Bahrain. And state media said drones and missiles were used to target communications and radar facilities associated with American forces in the Gulf. The escalation also sent oil prices higher as investors grew increasingly concerned about regional stability and the security of global energy supplies. As diplomatic prospects continue to fade, Iran has accused the U.S. of jeopardizing efforts to preserve the fragile ceasefire reached nearly 2 months ago. Iran's foreign ministry condemned the latest strikes, describing them as a violation of international law. The ministry said the attacks had effectively stripped the ceasefire of any meaningful value and warned that Washington would bear responsibility for any serious consequences arising from the escalation. Amid growing international concern, China has called on all sides to end military operations and return to the negotiating table. Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian urged an immediate cessation of hostilities and expressed support for ongoing mediation efforts. Beijing maintained that dialogue and diplomacy remain the only path towards a comprehensive and lasting ceasefire.
中方强烈敦促 有关方立即停止军事行动，回归对话谈判，响应有关国家斡旋努力，尽早实现全面持久停火。
While diplomatic efforts continue, countries across the region are also moving to protect their security interests. Jordan's military said it intercepted 20 missiles launched from Iran after Tehran announced it had targeted a U.S. command center in the kingdom. The armed forces said air defense systems and fighter aircraft successfully shot down the missiles before they could reach their intended targets near the Azraq area east of Amman. Officials added that debris fell in several locations, but no casualties or property damage were reported. And that's the latest for now. Back to you, Lorenzo, in the studio.
Iran says the so-called belt of resistance will stretch from the Strait of Hormuz to Bab al-Mandab and from the Persian Gulf to the Red Sea. All these are key strategic choke points which control at least 30% of global trade and around 20% of oil supply. With the Strait of Hormuz still under blockade by both Iran and the US, any similar closure of Bab el-Mandeb Strait could lead to even stronger energy shocks throughout the world. RT correspondent Saman Kajuri has more.
Yemen's Houthis have announced a ban on Israeli shipping through the Red Sea, raising the fears of renewed attacks around Bab al-Mandab, and the Houthi Yemens have already actually threatened vessels connected to Israel. This is a serious development because Bab al-Mandab is one of the world's most vital maritime choke points, linking the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and ultimately to the Suez Canal. Previous attacks by Yemen's Houthis have already forced many shipping companies to reroute around south of Africa, increasing the cost and times of the shipments. According to Yemen's Houthis, actually the move comes in support of what they call axis of resistance involving Palestine, Lebanon, as well as Iran. This gains a major importance also as Iran is now maintaining its pressure and control over the Strait of Hormuz. You know, these two waterways and corridors are one of the world's, two of the world's most important maritime corridors, which definitely, if any kind of disruption takes place there, it will have another major shock to global economy, especially Western economies, which are still and so far struggling with inflation and also a shortage of supplies.
Iran's strike on Israel following the IDF's bombing of Lebanon also marks a turning point. Take us through the latest announcements from Tehran.
After hours of exchanges of fire between Tehran and Tel Aviv, both sides declared cessation of hostilities, and both announced that if not attacked, definitely the others, they will not attack the other side. Iran has chosen a path of just offensive approach, just unlike what we have over the past couple of years seen from Iran, that it's always defending its country. Sometimes as part of its priorities and policies, it has adopted an offensive approach as well. Well, at the same time, U.S. President Donald Trump is still sending political messaging, saying that it was for his pressure on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that Israel did not launch a full-fledged war against Iran. But at the same time, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai has said that definitely Washington is all fully coordinated with Israel in all its operations against both Iran and Lebanon. And definitely the U.S. President Donald Trump is fully aware of what Israel does in the region.
Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.